Hello friends, my name is Sunil Ranjan and I am an English teacher. Now here in this video I have come up with the theme of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. So here I begin. Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights is named after the lonely, strange and frightening house on top of a hill where most of the novel's action takes place. But the title and the house have a little deeper meaning than that. Wuthering is an old-fashioned word. It means to blow with a dull roaring sound. Heights refer to the house's location at the top of a hill where the weather is mostly terrible, dark and windy. So the house Wuthering Heights is on a wuthering height. Now coming to the points. Number 1. The intensity of unchanged love. Well, you may remember or you may note down the points, because then only you will be able to score high marks in your examination. Fine. The first point is the intensity of unchanged love. So here I begin. Catherine and Heathcliff are the main characters whose passion for one another forms the center of Wuthering Heights. It is the source of most of the major conflicts that form the structure of the novel's plot. While telling Catherine and Heathcliff's story, Nellie Dean, the caretaker, criticizes both of them harshly. She condemns their passion as immoral, but this passion is one of the most compelling and memorable aspects of the novel. The love between them, as depicted in the book, goes beyond social norms and conventional morality. So, now the next point. Two parallel love stories. I repeat, two parallel love stories. Now, there are two parallel love stories in the novel. One focuses on the love between Catherine and Heathcliff, while the other features the love blossoming between young Catherine and Hareton. While the love between young Catherine and Hareton restores peace and order to Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange and ends happily, the love between Catherine and Heathcliff is rooted in their childhood and is marked by the refusal to change. Catherine likes Edgar and often thinks of a comfortable life with him, but she refuses to accept her role as a wife, either by sacrificing Heathcliff or embracing Edgar. Now, coming to the next point, growth and change. So you may write down growth and change dash Catherine and Hareton. Growth and change, Catherine. So Catherine here means young Catherine. So young Catherine and Hareton. Now, here I go. There is growth and change in the love between young Catherine and Hareton. In the beginning, Hareton appears as cruel, savage and illiterate man, but later he becomes a loyal friend to young Catherine and learns to read. Catherine's attitude towards him evolves from contempt to love. Now, the next point is passionate compulsion. So, I repeat, passionate compulsion. Catherine and Heathcliff's love is based on their shared perception that they are more or less the same. Catherine declares, I am Heathcliff, while Heathcliff, upon Catherine's death, cries out that he cannot live without his soul. Their passionate and compelling love for each other denies differences. Their love is beyond the boundary of sex. Now, coming to the next point, consciousness of social class. I repeat, consciousness of social class. So one thing I must tell you, dear friends, that if you write down your answers in points, you will definitely be scoring high marks in the examination. So, consciousness of social class. So here I begin. Class consciousness appears prominently in the late 18th and early 19th century British society. At the top was the royalty, followed by the aristocracy, then by the gentry or the upper middle class, and then by the lower classes that formed the majority of the population. In the novel, class status motivates the characters. Catherine decides to marry Edgar so that she will be the greatest woman of the neighborhood is a clear example. The Lintons carry their gentry status but take great pains to prove it through their behavior. The Earnshaws belong to the lower middle class as they have less land and no carriage. Mr. Earnshaw is a northern farmer and not a gentleman. There is a consciousness of social class when Lockwood remarks that Heathcliff is a gentleman only in dress and manners. So now coming to the next point, revengeful attitude. I repeat, revengeful attitude. Revenge is the central focus of Heathcliff's life. Most of his decisions are driven by sheer sense of revenge. Though he continues revenging, he never feels happy. He revenges himself upon Hindley by raising Hareton poorly and getting Cathy and Linton married in order to gain control of the Grange. Though he revenges upon those who had wronged him, he fails to reunite with Catherine. Now, the next point, nature and civilization. I repeat, nature and civilization. Emily Bronte pits nature against civilization to promote the romantic idea of the sublime and the beauty of nature. She makes this point through her characters by correlating them in both situations. Heathcliff roams the moors, while his rival, the studious Edgar Linton, stays in the civilized camp. Hareton Earnshaw is set against Linton Earnshaw and Catherine against Isabella. Many of the characters exhibit traits from both sides. While Bronte argues that nature is purer, she also lauds civilization, particularly in terms of education. Hareton Earnshaw personifies this combination of nature and civilization. Now, coming to the next point, and the next point is gender roles. I repeat, gender roles. So here I begin. Wuthering Heights examines stereotypes of masculinity and femininity. Emily Bronte constantly contrasts the two genders. Sometimes boys act like girls and girls act like boys. Edgar Linton and Linton Heathcliff are men, but Bronte frequently describes them as having the looks and attitudes of women. Similarly, Catherine Earnshaw is very beautiful, yet she loves rough outdoor play and can hold her own in any fight. She is a complex mix of hyper-feminine grace and loveliness and ultra-masculine anger and recklessness. Heathcliff, with his physical and mental toughness, is exaggeratedly masculine and scorns his wife Isabella for her overblown femininity. Now, coming to the last point, and the last point, friends, is masculinity over femininity. I repeat, the last point is masculinity over femininity. So, Emily Bronte seems to favor masculinity over femininity. Even in the portrayal of woman characters, she portrays weak, delicate characters with contempt, while she treats strong and rugged characters like Heathcliff, both Catherine's and Hareton, with compassion and admiration, despite their flaws. Ultimately, Wuthering Heights presents a vision of life as a process of change and celebrates this process through the romantic intensity of its leading characters. So friends, here I come to the end of the topic, the theme in the Wuthering Heights. If you have subscribed to my channel, fine, thank you. If you haven't, and if you choose to subscribe, I promise that I'll be coming up with fine and quality videos for you from time to time so that you do well in your exam and score high marks and feel very happy and satisfied. Thank you.